guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a worth the buy or not on the brand new Bare Minerals Bare Pro Performance Wear Liquid Foundation. Now, I've had some experiences with Bare Minerals foundations. I've tried, I can't remember, it's like the dropper one, like that has like the drops and then you get the brush, and it didn't work out for me at all. I didn't like it at all. But I have tried the skin tint one. It's like a BB cream. It's a very nice formula. I used to use it all the time when I worked at Sephora, when I was working on clients, and they loved the formula. It was so good. And I really like the fact that Bare Minerals expanded their color range in that selection of product, because I feel like it caters to a lot of skin tones as opposed to just catering to certain ones. So I think that Bare Minerals definitely did a great job with that. So I'm super impressed. So I'm hoping that this foundation doesn't do me wrong, and it's also pretty good. I think this may be too light. I ordered this online and I don't know. Okay, we're gonna have to see. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and moisturize with my Kiehl's Deep Facial Moisturizer. You guys know I've been a huge fan of this moisturizer these past few weeks since I bought it, and now I'm going to be using my primer oil by Smashbox. This is like one of my favorite products that I own. Before we start, let me go ahead and read the claims. So it says a flawless medium to full coverage, lasts all day long, creamy blendable texture for luxurious comfort, stay true mineral pigments designed for all skin tones. It is oil-free, non-comedogenic, hyperallergenic, and dermatologist tested. Now this isn't telling me if it is like a matte foundation or what, but it does have 20 SPF, so we shall see. And I really like the packaging. I like the pump. I like the very professional look. I feel like this is probably my favorite little situation packaging out of all of their products. So I'm just gonna go ahead and twist it. I think, twist it, and then, so I just went ahead and twisted it, and now I'm going to pump it on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna start applying the product. So it's definitely more on the runny side. It's not a very thick at all consistency. And now I'm gonna go ahead and just start putting the product in. Okay, so we are going to just put the product all over and see how this does. So as you can see, it's covering right away. You can see the difference. This is with product and this is with no product. The Beauty Blender isn't absorbing too much product, which is always a good thing. It looks very fresh. I also like the fact that consistency is not thick at all. It's more of that like liquidy consistency, so you don't look like a cake face. So that's so far so good. It kind of reminds me of the Estee Lauder Double Wear Water Nude Foundation in the aspect that it covers pretty quickly, but it doesn't feel heavy, and it also feels like one of those consistencies where you are able to feel like it's just your skin but perfected. It actually looks pretty decent. For some reason here, it like looked way too light, and I was like, so you can see the coverage with one layer looks really, really good. And you can see like all my redness on this side with one layer was pretty much completely covered on this side, which is a big deal for me, because usually like if it doesn't cover my redness like pretty decent, then I'm just like, this isn't gonna be the one for me. But even though I used a Beauty Blender, which was damp, and it did absorb some of the product, it's still covered fairly well. I'm gonna go in again with just a few pumps right in this area where it doesn't look red, but that's just where I like to go in for a second little layer. So I'm just gonna pump twice. The product is runny. And then I'm gonna focus it on the area of the cheek, just there. It's building really well. So I would say that's another good thing. I hate when products don't build well and they just look so cakey and like thick, and it just doesn't, you know, apply nicely on top of another layer, but this is applying very, very well on top of one another. Also, I think another thing that makes the foundation look very, very nice is using a primer oil. Not only does it make it last for a very long time, but I just feel like it makes the product line up so much easier, so much better. And also if you have a little bit of dryness in some areas or just dry patches, or tend to feel like, you know, you have oily skin but your product kind of clings on, I feel like it's very important to use an oil that can definitely help hydrate those little areas where you may have dryness. And per usual, I'm going to be using my Real Techniques little buffer brush, and we are just going to apply one layer right now. Ooh, coverage. It's always so different when you apply it with the brush and sponge. Like sometimes it looks really, really good with both, but sometimes if you're looking for a more full coverage right away result, if you apply with a brush, it's going to literally give you that full coverage result immediately, as opposed to with the Beauty Blender. With some foundations, you do have to go back in with a few more layers, or even just kind of in certain areas to really get the full potential of the product. It looks so fresh, like very skin-like. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, per usual, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup, use my products, see how they wear with this foundation, and then I'm going to come back and give you guys my thoughts on how it's working the first hour, and then we can go ahead and start our day and see if this foundation by Bare Minerals Bare Pro is worth the buy or not. Okay, so I am back. I finished my entire face of makeup and it looks really, really good. I would say do not use this foundation with cream products, because I did go ahead and try to use this and I did see that it sheared out my foundation a little bit when I was blending it out with a brush. So I would say don't use cream products with this foundation. Just be very careful, because it is more of that lightweight consistency. It tends to just rub off easier than other products. It does feel a little tiny bit sticky, but the foundation does feel good on the face. Now it blended out really well with my powder products. I had no issues. I do like to contour my nose a little bit with the KKW contour stick on the usual, but because it is more of that lightweight foundation, I don't want to rub off too much of the foundation, so I just went in with a powder and did everything that I needed to do. I'm gonna just go ahead and set it a little bit with my powder in the areas where I tend to get a little tiny bit oily, because I definitely don't want oils in those areas. So that's just around my nose, typical spots right around here, and then my forehead, another spot. But it looks really good. Definitely not a matte foundation. I would say more of like that satin finish. Definitely has like that satin-esque finish. It's not like luminous or anything like that. I feel like it's the perfect in-between foundation for my normal skin people. This seems like it would be thebomb.com. So I'm gonna quickly take a flash picture, just because we are wearing a foundation that has sunscreen. I want to see how this is going to perform. So let me go ahead and take a flash picture. Let's see. I feel like seeing it with like flash and seeing like it all even, it's definitely a little bit lighter than the rest of my body. Where is it? Here it is. I forgot to mention, it is the color Sable 21. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and wear this for the rest of the day, and I'll come back at the very end of the day and tell you guys if it's worth the buy or not. And as you can see, this is what my face looks like after a long day. Right away you can see the foundation's very oily, and honestly I don't like how it looks. Like I feel like it looks so dewy, and it's crazy because it looks really dewy in those areas where I went ahead and used setting powder. So that is a downfall for me. I would say that this foundation probably isn't for people that have oily skin. I feel like because it looks very, very oily, you can tell that I have product on my skin, because it just looks like that gross like makeup oil. So I would say for me, this is a no-go. It looked really, really good when I first applied it. It looked nice and fresh, but it didn't look oily. It didn't look overdone. It just looked perfect. But after all these hours, it definitely looks oily. And the foundation does transfer a little bit onto the hand, which is something else that I don't like. I feel like this foundation would be best for people that have very normal skin. Like they don't have issues of their skin getting too oily or their skin getting too dry. I just feel like this foundation is really good for my normal to combo girls. I feel like it could also be good for people with dry skin because it is more of that watery, liquidy consistency. So it's not going to cling on too much to your textured areas, and it's also not going to cling on too much to your dry areas. So that's a plus. But I feel like for people that have really oily skin, even with setting it, still a hot mess. Still a hot mess. It did remind me a little bit of the Estee Lauder foundation, but that one wore so beautifully throughout the entire day. Like, it didn't claim to be matte or anything, but it literally wore like a soft matte foundation. This isn't claiming to be matte, so that's cool because it's not claiming to be something it's not. But for me, I just feel like after a long day, if I was still out wearing this foundation, people would be like, you have a lot of makeup on. So those are my final thoughts. If you guys have tried the Bare Minerals Bare Pro foundation, then let me know what you think. I feel like I expected a little bit more, so I was a little bit under impressed. I think I want to return this, to be completely honest, because I just feel like I couldn't see myself wearing this every day or just to events. I feel like, especially during events, I need something that's gonna like lock shit in, and this is not gonna lock shit in. If I'm gonna be dancing and having fun, I'm gonna look so oily. So this probably isn't something that I would want to consider. And that being said, I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye guys.